Like pixels on a screen, these are the games of our lives.
Hello and welcome to the Games of Our Lives, episode 24. On this week's episode, Michael Peason.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah! It is you.
I was like, who is this mystery person doing the opening?
Yeah. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm doing good. Busy, but still found some time to game.
Good. So what have you been playing?
So I know we've been talking about forever, and Galak-Z finally came out.
The Dimensional. I think
yes.
that's the subtitle.
You know what? One of the funnier things the game does is randomize mission names.
Oh, yeah, and who writes them?
Yeah, no, it's pretty great. So Galak-Z, the Dimensional. So I know I've been looking forward to it for a while.
Yeah.
And so far, I do enjoy it. I think it's good. I maybe overhyped it in my head a little more. But it is a lot of fun. It's a little... it's actually a little harder than I expected, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, it is pretty hard. I've been playing a little bit of it too. I've found that playing it with the mouse and the keyboard is a lot easier than the controller myself.
Oh, you know what? I never even thought to try that. I might have to give that a shot.
Yeah.
But so it's broken up. I remember, I think you mentioned that it was sort of an episodic. That was the original plan.
Right. So it's like 5 seasons and there are 4 missions in a season. And you sort of do the roguelike thing where you start from scratch at every season.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was like, damn, because at the end of the first season, I'm like, oh my god, I'm a powerhouse. Nothing will stop me.
Right.
And then I go into the next season and it's like,
oh no, I lost everything.
Yeah, you lost. Actually, even worse. The first few missions, I didn't really realize how they hid chests. So I'm like, oh no, I missed items. So I went through the entire first season, and you collect these crash coins. It's really the only kind of thing you carry between seasons.
Right.
So I remember things. I'm like, I'm gonna restart the first season and just run through the first 2 missions to pick up what items I missed. And that's when I found out that they start you from nothing, and you immediately cash in your crash coins.
Yeah, so you can only carry over 5.
Yeah, exactly. So when I realized that, it was too late. Like I'd already restarted the first season.
Oh
and
no!
I wasn't gonna bother replaying those 5 missions. So I did go back, and then I went into season 2 broke. So
yeah,
so it's kind of a little more interesting. Give myself a little bit more of a challenge than I needed.
Yeah, so I think the way that the missions are structured, the first season's missions are fixed because they're mostly tutorial stuff. But once you get into the second season, you actually get randomized objectives and mission dialogue.
Yeah, and if you die in a mission and you restart, you can get a different mission.
Yeah.
I think the boss mission's the same.
Probably.
It's the 5th one.
I'm somewhere at the 3rd episode of the second season.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I've had to restart it a few times, and it's different every time. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, kind of the one. I mean, I do really enjoy it. One of the weirder things I think it does is when you pick up an item, you kind of automatically equip it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a time where I would keep replaying the same mission, and there was an item there that I didn't really want. Like it was a laser upgrade that I didn't like as much as the one I had. But I'm like, oh no, there's an achievement for picking up all the treasure in every mission in a season. So I kept picking it up and just like, all right, I'm gonna get through this. Eventually, and the other thing that happens to me is I always forget that you have missiles.
Oh yeah, no, I use those up right away.
Yeah, so I'll die, and then I'll be like, oh man, how does I'll keep dying. I'm like, why is this game so hard? And I'm like, oh yeah, you have a super weapon.
Oh yeah, right, shields.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, some of the persistence things it does is interesting. So it does not heal your ship between missions. You really have to pay. I've seen 2 repair kits in my entire playthrough so far. They are not common.
You have to when you see the shop guy, you're like, oh yes,
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah, so like the first time I played it, or the first season, I played it like I do most games where I'm a complete hoarder. And I just I didn't want to spend any money. I was at like 2 health the whole time because I didn't want to pay to repair. And I made it through barely. It did take a couple tries. And then of course they're like, screw you, you're reset. I mean, which is cool. That's how the game works. So, okay. So it broke me of a bad habit.
Yeah.
But I enjoy
that
it.
game's great.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It still looks great.
Yeah, and the physics are really, really nice. That it's a little brain bending, the way that you can sort of control the shit. But once you get a hold of it, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, that's true because it's not going to play like the twin stick shooter you're thinking.
Right. You don't. There's a thrust button essentially, and then you sort of go wherever you're pointing.
Right, so it's almost like the old Resident Evil controls, only it makes sense.
Right, and it's in space, so there's drift.
Yeah. No, it's a ton of fun. I'm enjoying it.
I think my favorite
there is a change in the season 2 that I think makes it a lot more fun.
Oh yeah. Yes. The end of season 1 was pretty rad.
Yeah. So because I was kind of playing the first 4, I'm like, this is fun. But I could see this getting old, and then they do a gameplay change that makes it a lot more interesting.
The hidden lever.
Yeah, exactly. And then it also it's kind of fun. It's a space combat action game, and you know what? It actually kind of rewards stealth.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's one of the more interesting aspects of it is you can play it like a stealth game and sort of sneak up on dudes and like separate them from the herd and take them out.
Yeah, there's a ship ability that decreases the sound you make by 50%.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I got it once, and I'm like, this is amazing. And then I lost it at the end of the season. It's like, no. I have to relearn the game.
Yeah, and there is sort of a persistence of like unlocking items. You find blueprints in the missions, and once you find the right ones, there's some that have multiple pieces rather. The item could become available in a shop.
And you know what? I was gonna say I don't really know how it works because I've unlocked a ton of blueprints and it says available, and then I'll go to the shop and it's just not there. So yeah, I'm missing something.
It's saying what it essentially means is that it could be in a shop. There's a chance that it'll be in the shop. Okay.
Yeah, because I kind of felt like the way you can carry over some money, you can at least I can maybe start every mission with the same 1 or 2 upgrades, but I haven't seen that yet.
Right. I don't think there's that level of persistence. It's like the Binding of Isaac thing where you unlock things that could appear.
All right, that makes sense. All right, and you'll always have the ability to buy 1 repair and I think 1 missile.
Yeah, you'll be able to buy missiles, shield, and a repair at the start of every mission.
Right, but only 1. I mean, you can't if you're at 1 health, you can't buy your way to full.
But I mean, you could always be super good at the game and not have to.
Haven't run into that. It's always something. And there's a lot. I mean, there's no checkpoints in missions, so it does get, and you can easily.
I've had at the end, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a bunch where I'm doing great, and then I just mess up a fight and I die.
Yeah,
it's like but that's cool. I haven't felt like that in a while.
There's a lot of panic dodging that I do.
Oh yeah, totally. No, great game. Really, really enjoying it. Definitely worth. I think was it 15 or 20? I think 15.
It's 20, but it's discounted this week since it was just released on Steam.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no, it was. I'm really enjoying it.
The original version came out on PS4 with 4 seasons, and then they just added the 5th season for the PC version, and it's also on the PS4 version, obviously. But yeah, now that the 5th season's done, they put it out on Steam. It's really good.
All right, cool. How about you, Chris? Have you been playing? I know you've also been playing Galak-Z.
Yes, I through sheer skill managed to worm my way into the Overwatch beta. It was totally my doing, not complete
Elite
random
skills.
luck or knowing anybody at Blizzard. But yes, I've been playing the Overwatch closed beta. If you've not been following it, they sort of announced it at last year's BlizzCon with a great cinematic trailer as they do. More about BlizzCon later, because I have thoughts about the Warcraft movie, but
I'm sure you do.
yeah, no. Overwatch is Blizzard's attempt to take Team Fortress 2 and sort of do the Blizzard thing where they perfect it and then sell 1 billion copies. Sort of the same thing that they did with StarCraft and World of Warcraft and Hearthstone and maybe Heroes of the Storm. I don't know how that is doing, but I don't think it's doing as good as its contemporaries. But,
no, probably not. But I guess they're all free, right?
Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm are, yeah.
Yeah.
Overwatch is not, but we'll get to that. So yeah, it's been there are, what is it, the 18 or so heroes in the game right now. There's going to be 21 at launch. They just announced 3 new ones, but yeah, I've been playing it over the last 2 weeks or so, and it's a lot of fun. I love the character designs. The art is fantastic. It plays really well, and unlike Team Fortress 2, which is more like a class-based game where I think there are 5 classes, I want to say. I can't remember exactly, but there are 4 like categories, and then each hero sort of has different abilities. There are offensive heroes, there are defensive heroes.
I think 7 classes. Sorry, I'm
okay.
counting in my head.
Yeah, okay. So there's support classes, offensive classes, defensive classes, and then specialty classes. And then sort of each hero within those categories has their own special abilities. Like within the offensive classes, you have a person that has a rocket launcher, and then somebody who has just some guns and is very fast. And like the support classes aren't necessarily all medics. There's one which is basically a medic, the medic from TF2, almost exactly. And then in like,
does he have a really bad German accent?
No, she has
what?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think she is German. If she's not German, she's Swiss, which is basically German.
Look, he's a Central European.
yeah, right. She's great. I love her. But there literally is an engineer who builds turrets.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. But
so of course the real question: how is the hat selection?
There aren't any hats, at least not now. I think they're gonna. So we might as well roll into this. They at this year's BlizzCon, which was this past weekend, they sort of announced how they're monetizing the game. All right, so there's the base version of the game, which is $40, and it nets you access to all 21 heroes and all of the maps that are currently in the game. Nice. Okay, I get it. I guess maybe if they release more characters, you'll have to pay for it. I don't know. There is the Origins Edition, which gives you the heroes, a couple of skins, and digital bonuses for other Blizzard games. And that's $60. And that is the version that is also being released to Xbox One and PS4. So hopefully all 3 systems will play nice together.
Oh, is it cross-platform?
I don't know. I don't know if Xbox and PS4 will have their own servers or if it'll all be playing together. I mean, you can play the PC game with a controller if you wanted to.
If you hate yourself.
Yeah, if you're crazy. I don't know. Hopefully they all play together because a larger player pool would be better for games like this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then, obviously, there's a special collector's edition that you can get, which is overpriced and crazy. Like, yeah. But yeah.
I assume it has, what, statuettes?
It has a statue, yeah.
Okay. So is it, all right, so there's no, like, season pass, though, involved or anything?
I mean, they've not announced any content going forward, but I don't know. To be
I mean, it's
quite
Blizzard.
honest,
They'll have something, right?
Right. To be quite honest, I don't know if $40, like, I don't know if you know, $40 sort of makes sense for this game just as a multiplayer shooter. I mean, granted, people just buy the Call of Duties for the multiplayer, but this is something completely new for Blizzard. And I don't think that they don't necessarily have the built-in audience on consoles like they do for the PC stuff.
Oh, okay. So you think? I mean, I was kind of thinking like, oh, how refreshing it is to actually pay money for a game up front.
Yeah, no, I mean that's I'm cool with that. I'm gonna buy the Origins edition. I just don't know what it means for the game going forward. I don't know if there will be any like single player content. I don't know what it means for getting new heroes, if they're still gonna, because like I could totally justify in a cheap or free to play game rolling out new heroes regularly and asking you to pay for them. That I totally get it. That's what pretty much every MOBA does. But paying full price for a big slew of heroes and then asking me to pay more as time goes on for new skin, like for new heroes or new maps, sort of doesn't really make sense anymore to me.
Well, I mean, I guess it could be. I mean, like most Blizzard games do the expansion route, right?
Right, and
Where
that sort of makes sense to me. Yeah.
I mean, that's the question, right? If they trickle out heroes and they say, all right, $5 a piece or whatever. I mean, I can see that being frustrating. But if they just come out and then in a couple months they're like, hey, we have Legends of the Hero Storm, but and it adds 5 heroes and all this for $30. I mean, that's how most games work. It's weird now.
Yeah, I guess
it seems
so.
like games don't do that anymore.
Yeah, but the gameplay's great. It seems fairly well balanced. I don't know. I'm not as well versed in that stuff, but as I play more of it, I can see, like, obviously the first couple of games you're like, wow, these X character is overpowered or X situation is overpowered, but as you get more familiar with the maps and with the heroes and their capabilities, you sort of see behind the threads behind it to the how balanced everything is, and it is different than TF2, whereby team composition actually really matters. You sort of have to have all of the pieces playing together to be successful. Otherwise, you're just going to get stomped.
I mean, you could make the same argument about TF2, but that's always anytime you're depending on random puppies, it's
I don't know. The last time I played TF2, you've got a heavy and a medic, and then everybody else is just whatever the hell they want, and it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Right.
Hopefully you have an engineer. Well,
Yeah.
they did the I'm trying to think, when they came out with their man versus machine mode, that one is a lot more teamwork dependent.
Right.
But obviously
that's
PvE
co-op mode, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt for this, right?
So the way that the game works, obviously, so you select a hero, it's objective based, so there are either capture point objectives or escort payload objectives, usually. And if it's capture point, there's usually 2 points in the map, and you're sort of progressing. You're either on attack or defense, depending, and certain characters are more suited to certain roles. And you can change your hero anytime you respawn or go back to the spawn room. So you can have multiples of the same hero in the same map. So the team that has good composition and is switching heroes when appropriate is going to win every time, basically.
Okay, so is pretty much once you pick a class, you have that loadout. Are there any weapon choices to make?
No, well, not now. I mean, if they put in a sort of experience system and talent system, maybe. So, okay. I didn't really explain how the individual characters work. So you have your main fire ability. Each character has a different weapon, essentially. You've got guys with assault rifles, guys with rocket launchers, different weapons, and firing modes, essentially. And every character has an offensive capability. Then they do the MOBA thing where they've got abilities on top of that. You might have a right-click ability. You might have a shift ability. You might have an E key ability. And they all do different things depending on which class you are. And some of the classes don't have that stuff. They're basically just pure offense or pure healing or whatever. Then, as you're playing the match, and as you do damage and as you take damage, you're charging up your ultimate ability, which is usually super powerful. For instance, the healing character, Mercy, who I've been playing a lot, her ultimate ability is a resurrection. So anytime, once it's charged up, anybody who's down and waiting for a respawn, you can just revive them immediately.
Oh, that's cool. So like revive 'em at that. Are there corpses on the playing field?
Yeah. Their corpses they're persistent corpses until they respawn, essentially. So I think it's like 10 seconds, I want to say, maybe 6. I don't know. But, if your team just got wiped out at the defense point, and your ultimate is charged and you res all 4 of your teammates. It's 6-on-6, by the way. So yeah, you res 5 teammates at the defense point with 10 seconds left. That's kind of a clutch play.
Sure. All right, cool. So how long have they said how long it's going to be in closed beta? Are they going to open the beta,
I don't know. I don't know what they're planning for the beta, but they're planning to release the full version of the game spring of 2016. So actually not that long, like in the next 6 months maybe.
Yeah, but I mean it's Blizzard, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
When it's done.
But since they are releasing to consoles, they're kind of on a tighter schedule, right? Because unlike the wild woolly west of the PC world, they have to go through certification to get on consoles.
That's true. So you can't just sort of change your minds right before it's supposed to come out.
Well, I mean, you can. It's just that they have to have a feature complete game by a certain time frame. They could fix it later.
Day one patches are pretty common now.
Exactly, but they have to have a complete game to put out onto the consoles at some point. And if it's not day and date with PC, it'll be a nightmare for everybody. So this is like a bold move by Blizzard, I think, because they haven't released a console game since StarCraft on the N64.
No, the Diablo 3 made it to the consoles.
Totally forgot about that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's more of a that's a little easier to translate, I think, to consoles.
Yeah, this is much and they did by all accounts, because when I had our friend Patrick King on in the last few months. I don't remember exactly when. I think it was over the summer. He had been playing the console version of Diablo and said it was pretty good. So I guess they've been building up that team for this to translate. And this game totally will work great on consoles. The art style, while it looks amazing, is also not super. It doesn't require super hardware to run and look good. It's sort of a highly stylized but not as intense version of the hardware, so I think it'll run pretty good on consoles.
Well, now that we're talking about Blizzard and graphical graphical prowess, you can probably segue into your thoughts on the Warcraft movie.
I mean, okay, so I've been out of the World of Warcraft game for a few years now, but one of the things that I always enjoy is Blizzard's CGI trailers. The one for Overwatch, which I'll link in the description for this, is amazing and sold me on the game without even knowing what it was last year. But for the Warcraft movie, they have shipped that off to another studio, to a movie studio, and the first trailer for the Warcraft movie came out that was shown at BlizzCon this past weekend, and it's a mixed live action and CG movie. It seems to be following the story of the first or the second Orc versus Human War, so like Warcraft 2 storyline. And it looks like garbage.
Oh, hot takes.
I mean, this is just my opinion. I've seen a lot of people who are now really excited about it, but like the CG just doesn't look like Blizzard, and it's not Blizzard's.
I didn't realize it wasn't Blizzard, because I was actually looking at it. I was like, oh man, Warcraft movie. I knew they were making it, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of brown. It's a lot of like dull colors and a lot of white dudes riding on CGI griffins, and it just doesn't look good. And I'm not excited about it.
Look, as long as there's a 45-minute tangent about gold farmers, I'm sold.
Yeah.
It does kind of. My first thought actually kind of was like, oh, it's like Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Oh, dude.
Where they just. Well, that was another thing where
I know.
you're like, oh, Square Enix makes absolutely the best CG, but
Parallels.
it's crazy. You'd have to shut down your studio for like 3 years to make a movie.
Right. The parallels are incredible. Because what Square Enix did for that movie, they stood up an entire film division. They sunk millions into that division to release that movie, and it was a total disaster.
Not even Alec Baldwin could save it.
Yeah. So like I understand why they've shipped the CG for that movie to another studio, because like producing those CGI trailers that are never really any longer than 3 or 4 minutes takes like years. So like I understand
definitely
why they shipped it out, but it just doesn't feel like Blizzard anymore. It feels like somebody is making a licensed product.
Well, I think the trailer really kind of most of the scenes were either CG or live action. I don't think they showed that much where it's a combo.
There was any with the Griffin stuff, and there are a couple scenes where the orcs are talking to the humans, and they're sort of doing the Avatar thing where they've got some people in makeup and some people who are all CG, and then some people who are all not CG. Like I think Garona, who's the half orc assassin, like in Warcraft lore at least. I don't know how closely they're going to follow the Warcraft lore for this, because they've got to tell, decades worth of story in 2 hours or whatever. But I think
only if
she
they don't plan on making the sequels.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Boil down my opinions, I think there are better stories to tell than the Warcraft 2 story, and I don't think it looks good. So there.
All right. Well,
I would rather see the Warcraft 3 movie, because Warcraft 3 actually had an engaging story.
So that they're shooting for summer of next year, right? 2016.
I don't know, but obviously since they released the trailer, they've made some significant progress. So.
All right.
That's what's going on.
Telling it how it is.
Yeah. So other BlizzCon stuff, new Hearthstone expansion, new heroes for Heroes of the Storm, new World of Warcraft expansion, obviously. Pretty basic stuff that you see every year. I don't know. The thing with World of Warcraft is like, so they're going to be releasing their next expansion, I think, next spring. So probably more like next summer. And it'll be like over a year between major content patch and expansion, so their subscriber numbers are going to fall.
Yeah, I think I saw something. They're down to was it 5.5 million?
They've gotten to the point where they're going to actually stop reporting them.
Oh,
which
is still
they've
an
said.
Insane amount of people.
Like seriously, that's big. Yeah, that's still double at least what any MMO out there could pull, even in their even if it was a franchise you want and their first weekend, that's still more than any MMO out there could ever pull, which is still incredible, but it's no longer enough to sustain the content farm. It's getting to that point,
All right,
so we might be seeing the end of World of Warcraft in the next few years. Don't know.
Oh man, so flashbacks. You said that first. I thought it was that South Park episode where this is the end of the world of Warcraft.
But yeah. Might as well talk about this while we're here. Activision bought King.com, the makers of Candy Crush, for $5.9 billion.
I did see that.
And I saw a lot of memes on the Intertrons, which were mock-ups of the things you can buy in Candy Crush, and then one was buy our company. Get a coin doubler on top of this company that you're buying for $5.9 billion.
Good. Obviously, I guess if you're making money off that, good for them. But damn, man,
are they going to release a Warcraft Candy
Crush
Warcraft saga?
this is kind of something where are you paying? you're paying for the existing property, right? It's not like you don't really care what the studio does next.
Right. You're buying the money making machine that is a mobile game, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's not like I have anything invested into Candy Crush.
You shouldn't, I hope.
Yeah. Well, no, but I guess the fear is always like, oh, great. Like now they're gonna. I mean, that was a fear with Microsoft and Minecraft. It's like, oh, well, how are they gonna try to recoup this investment?
Right, and I don't know.
I mean, the game already is about buying like candy hammers. I'm not sure what else they can do.
I just, my hope, my sincere hope for it is they just bought this money farm to support their other investments, and it's not going to cross over.
Who knows? Maybe.
Because I mean,
you don't want Call of Duty candy wars.
Right. I mean, Call of Duty isn't making the buku bucks that it used to. World of Warcraft isn't like it's still the top of the heap, but it's not.
Wait, I got it. Call of Duty Blow Pops 2.
Oh, okay. Black Ops. Okay, I get it. I thought you were.
Sorry.
I thought you were.
Am I the first? No. Wait, was I the first one? I imagine there's like a billion people making that joke.
No, I didn't get that it was a Black Ops reference at first. I thought it was just a regular Call of Duty reference. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make. Oh, I get it.
We got layers today, people.
I just woke up about an hour ago, so I'm not completely with it. But
all right.
Yeah, Michael, what do you got? What do you got on the horizon? What are you looking forward to since I've been talking for the last hour?
I guess I mean the obvious one is Fallout 4 comes out.
That'll come out on the day that this podcast releases.
Yeah,
November 9th.
That's the obvious one. I'm still one of those people who, as much as I enjoyed Fallout 3, I'm one of those like curmudgeonly people who was like, this isn't Fallout 2.
It looks like there'll be a bunch of good stuff in Fallout 4. Like the base building stuff looks like it'll be pretty rad. But you know what? I still have not purchased it yet. I'm gonna wait to see if it's a hot garbage mess when it comes out. If it's not a hot garbage fire, I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be a good game. I just enjoy being contrarian.
I don't know that you do. You seem like a pretty positive guy to me.
I hope it's good. The Fallout games were a lot of fun.
Yeah, but interplay doesn't exist anymore. I know, it's kind of sad, right?
Yeah, pouring out for Black Isle.
But yeah, I think that's going to cover it. I'm going to keep playing Overwatch.
I'm hoping to kind of burn through Galak-Z, and then maybe, because I kind of put Rebel Galaxy aside.
I've been playing that a little bit lately. I hit a wall with that, but sort of pushed through it.
Oh, that's good. Yes, because I was really enjoying it, and then I went on travel for a week, and I came back, and Galak-Z was out.
Right.
So I've been playing that.
No, the Rebel Galaxy is a great game to sort of put down and then come back to, because there's no real story in it.
That's true.
It's sort of like Minecraft. You could just go back and do whatever the hell you want.
Just find some missions and try to remember how the combat works.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I just upgraded to a destroyer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a pretty big ship. So I'm basically, my goal in that game is to get as big a ship as possible and then just load it out with turrets and then go into a mission area and just sit there while ships crash into me and explode.
I think that is a great, because I was kind of looking at, I'm at the point now where I can start looking at the next class of ships. And it's basically, I can go fast and try to actually play with skill, or
have 12 turret stations.
Yeah, I can buy this barge with turrets. Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. I might go your way too. Just so
they're called ships.
But, no, they're she's. But yeah, so that's kind of my plan for the next week, and then if at the end of that, probably maybe look at Fallout.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for listening and staying with us. This is the 24th episode of the Games of Our Lives. We've been at it, I want to say almost, we're getting up to a year. I mean, 52 weeks would be the normal year, but we started doing the every other week thing, so I'd have to do the math on that. But thanks for sticking with us. Go ahead and spread us around. That's the only way that we can grow the audience and get new listeners to the show. Once again, thank you for joining me, Michael, and we'll see you next time.